So I've come to the conclusion that I just don't think I am photogenic at all.
First of all, you have to be pretty damn smart to be creative, because otherwise you're just going to get to where other people have already got, and that's not creative by definition.
I'm trying to be as clear and transparent as I can possibly be, as a little litmus test to see if I'm wrong, because I'm really hoping I'm wrong.
Hey, well, everyone's not creative, and everybody goes, oh, that's terrible. It's like, it's not so terrible. It's not self-evident that you would curse someone with high levels of creativity.
At some point, I think, everybody kind of faces facts, and it might be a dream. It might be a dream that you want to be this great, great concert pianist, but if you don't know how to play the piano, I'm sorry, you're not going to be a concert pianist.
So I say, well, everyone's not creative, and everybody goes, oh, that's terrible. It's like, it's not so terrible. It's not self-evident that you would curse someone with high levels of creativity.
Don't give up on your dreams. Shoot for the stars. Always aim high.
You hear very frequently people say things like, everyone's creative. It's like, that's wrong, okay? It's wrong. It's just as wrong as saying that everyone's extroverted.
Be real. And, have your dream. Aim for the highest possible good that you are possibly able to achieve. And aim for it and achieve it. And do it not for you, but do it for the highest possible good, whatever that definition of highest possible good is. But, Berber, it's snowing pretty bad outside. We've been stir crazy here, stuck inside, and I don't know what to do. I'm a composer at heart. This is what I love to do. This is what I need to do. I've been watching this Jordan Peterson video, The Curse of Creativity.
So being fast and being out there at the front of things really makes a difference. And then you also have to have these divergent thinking capabilities, and that's part of your trait structure. And creative people are really different than non-creative people.
And so much of it strikes a chord. He's a psychologist. He knows what he's talking about. He's helped people his whole life, and he's in a perfect position to help millions now. So, and I have nothing but admiration for his ventures.
Partly because, for example, they're highly motivated to do creative things and to experience novelty and to chase down aesthetic experiences and to attend movies and to read fiction and to go to museums and to enjoy poetry and to enjoy music that's not conventional music, for example.
Still, he's describing the water that I'm drowning in, and I need a life preserver, something. I need something. And so I'm learning that you got to be entrepreneurial mindset.
Don't be thinking that creativity is such a good thing. It's a high-risk, high-return strategy. So if you're creative, you just try this. There's creative people in this room, man. You guys are going to have a hell of a time monetizing your creativity. It's virtually impossible. It's really, really difficult.
As an artist or a painter or a sculptor or a composer or a writer or a script, whatever it is that you do, inventor, in medicine, whatever it is that you do, creative arts, you need to be doing it, and you need to be doing it all the time. That much I know. And I keep looking over here because that's where I want to go, over here, so that I can compose music. That's what I'm most at peace doing. But I also know that I need the YouTube platform to, to elevate it.
First of all, let's say you make an original product. You think the world will beat a pathway to your door if you build a better mousetrap. It's like, that's complete rubbish. It isn't true in the least. If you make a good creative product, you've probably solved about 5% of your problem.
I don't have all the answers, but I know I love composing music and I love doing what I do. And I've been doing construction for 44 years and I'm sick of it. I can't stand it.
Because then you have marketing, which is insanely difficult, and then you have sales, and then you have customer support, and then you have to build an organization. And if it's really novel, you have to tell people what the hell the thing is. No one knows what that is.
But it's allowing me to do what I love to do. I'm not afraid of hard work. We built this house. This is kind of like my third symphony. Made all the woodwork, put all the flooring in, all the trim. that kitchen behind me, all this beam work behind me. I don't know if you can see, but like, all of this beam work here, all of these beautiful, beautiful decorative trusses, the windows, like all this stuff in this house. We made all of the flooring, all this oak flooring back here, the transition, all this species wood in here, native to the land. When we literally made all of this from the trees that we cut down from the property when we built this house last year.
Then you have the problem that another million people have also written a book, but if you produce something that's completely new and doesn't have a category, people can't search for it online. How are they going to find it? And then you have pricing problems, and it's really unbelievably difficult to produce something creative and then monetize it.
This was all during COVID, from 2019 to 2023. It took us 4 years to buy the property, develop it, and then build the house. That was fun in its own right, but I'm just tired of construction work. I want to get on with the last chapter of my life, which is to become the composer that I've always wanted to. And this is what Peterson talks about in his video.
If you're the creative person, let's say you have a spectacular invention, you've got no money, right? You've got no customers. Those are big problems. And so maybe you go and you find a venture capitalist. We start with family and friends, because that's how it works. You raise money for your product. You raise money from your family and friends.
You got to wear a lot of hats. You got to have a little bit of sales and marketing, and
that's assuming you have family and friends that have some money and that they're going to give it to you. And most people aren't in that situation. So it's a terrible barrier right off the bat.
That frightens me. I'm sure it frightens and intimidates a lot of people in the arts.
And then, of course, you're putting your family and friends at substantial financial risk, because the probability that your stupid idea is going to make money is virtually zero, even if it's a really brilliant idea.
One thing I've learned with YouTube is you can't be afraid of the camera. You got to learn how to make videos. You got to learn how to make 100 crappy ones before you can learn how to make one good one.
There's steps in building a business. Family and friends, angel investor, that's some rich guy that you happen to meet, some man or some way who's into this sort of thing and is willing to provide you with some money to get your product off the ground.
And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go compose some music now and get some peace for my soul.
Well, how much of your product is that person going to take? Well, most of it. And no wonder, because, you don't have any money. How are you going to bargain for control over your product? He'll just say, well, do you want the money or not? And if your answer is no, then he'll go and do something else with his money. It's not like there's no shortage of things that you can do with your money. There's a million things you can do with it. So you're not in a great bargaining position.
Why we do this, what we do, nobody knows. Like, it's just in us. It's what we do. We have to create. The artist has to paint. The sculptor sculpts. The writer writes. The composer composes. And we do it, I think part of it is we do it for posterity, for humanity.
And then if you get venture capitalists involved, they'll take another big chunk, and maybe if they're not very straight with you, they'll just throw you out, because maybe by that point in the company's development, you're nothing but a pain in the neck, because what do you know about marketing and sales and customer service and building an organization and running a business? Like, you don't have a clue, so why do they need you?
We do it because we want to leave a small legacy. We want to contribute to humanity. We want to just be a small part that we can contribute.
So even if you're successful at generating a new idea and you put it into a business, the probability that you, as the originator of the idea, are going to make some money from it is very, very low. So don't be thinking that creativity is something you would want to curse yourself with.
Not all of us can be Pollocks and Mark Twains and Beethoven. He said, there ought to be a depot where one can simply take his work and collect a fee for what he thinks it's worth.
Now, it's not all bad, because it opens up avenues of experience for creative people that aren't available to people who aren't creative.
And I'm like, well, okay. 200 years later, maybe that exists. Maybe it exists in the form of self-marketing and sales and finding entrepreneurs and, putting your stuff out there.
It definitely is a high-risk, high-return strategy. So the overwhelming probability is that you will fail. But a small proportion of creative people succeed spectacularly.
It's definitely high risk, high reward, but it's so select few can make it to the top of that pyramid that most of us are down here on the bottom hoping that we're going to hit the lottery that'll propel us up to the top.
And so it's like a lottery in some sense. You're probably going to lose. But if you don't lose, you could win big. And that keeps a lot of creative people going. But also, they don't really have much choice in it, because if you're a creative person, you're like a fruit tree that's bearing fruit. You can suppress it, but it's very bad for you.
But I don't know, yeah, we want to be self-sufficient. We don't want to have to work a day job so we can do what we love to do. I mean, very few of us are doing what we love to do. That, I think, is the ultimate dream. Nothing's going to stop the true artist from painting or the true composer from composing.
The creative people I've worked with is if they're not creative, they're miserable, so they have to do it. There's real joy and pleasure in it and psychological utility, but it's certainly not a conservative strategy for moving forward through life.
Nothing's going to stop you from doing it. I think it goes a little bit deeper, that we want, how did Marlon Brando say it? I want to have purpose. I wanted to be somebody.
Could have been a contender. I could have been somebody.
So, we just want to leave a legacy, or we just want to leave a little mark, or I just want to contribute to the group, so to speak.
And whenever I talk to people who are creative, and you guys should listen to this, because I know what I'm talking about. If you happen to be creative, if you're a songwriter or another kind of musician or an artist or any of the other number of things that you might be, find a way to make money and then practice your craft on the side, because you will starve to death otherwise. Now, for some of you, that won't be true, but it's a tiny minority. Your best bet is to find a job that will keep body and soul together and parse off some time that you can pursue your creative thing, because then, well, as a long-term strategy, a medium to long-term strategy, it's a better one. But it's got incredibly difficult for people, musicians, for example, it's incredibly difficult for new musicians to monetize their craft, even if they're really, really good at it.
Anyways, this was a little bit off-brand, and I hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe. It does help grow the channel. I'm learning all the time. I try to make something a little bit different with every video that I make, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.